So now let's do a little bit of fuzzing. Postman can do a lot of fuzzing and find a lot of vulnerabilities. What we're going to do now is just the simplest fuzzing case. So this one here, AP103, fuzzing with Postman, and oh, well, I think that's just lying. Let me just try a different browser. I think I've seen this nonsense before. What happens, I may have to re-upload something, but I think I won't. I think I've seen this before. Once my browser gets the idea that the page is not there, it's very stubborn about not letting me see it. Oh, good. I just needed a shift refresh. Good. All right. So, fuzzing with Postman. So you connect to Crappy, and now the first thing you have to do is fill up your requests to fill up your whole collection. So you have to surf around the website and find requests and rebuild them until you've done as many as you can. And one that is not terribly obvious that you have to do is the reset password. So let me just demonstrate that one. The others you've seen. As you surf through the website, you've seen how you put in posts and gets. One thing that is not quite so obvious, because you have to log out to get there. If you log out, which is here, okay, now, here on the login page, there is a forgot password link, and that uses the API. So let's go to my burp and go to proxy, and let's clear all the old history just to clean up the screen. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Yes, I am sure I want to clear the history. Okay, good. Now I'm going to go forgot password. Now this has email verification. So I'm going to put in my email or one of my accounts, and then what it does is it sends a one-time password to that account to your registered email ID. And then you're supposed to read your email and respond. And there is, in fact, a second port listening on the server where you could read the email, but you don't need to. Now, it wants the email verification. I can just put in a wrong one here, like 1234, and a new password. Because it's okay if the request fails. I'm just trying to get the structure of the request. So this is what the token I was supposed to get from my email. I set password, and it complains invalid OTP. So now I've managed to do a request, and you see it here, post forget password. And here's the one I care about. Notice something here. This is version 3. All the other APIs are version 2, but this one is version 3, which suggests that the developer has been sloppy, and that's what we're trying to fix. So here you see the request that did that, and we want to put that request into Postman. So let's get rid of this and get back to Postman. All right, so here's our group. So we're going to add another request to it. It's going to be okay, and I'm going to shove it to the side. This is going to be check OTP, one-time password. Okay, and I'm going to put in the data from burp, which is post, and the URL from this request, and the data from here. So that will go into the body, which is going to be none. And there should be another. Oh, this request does not have a body. Well, something is not quite right. Ah, there we are. It just wasn't wide enough. Now I can do raw JSON, paste in the JSON, and beautify it. Now I feel happy about it. You don't really have to beautify it, but I like to. I didn't click OK. No, and I didn't click OK. I did click OK before to get to this point, I think. Yeah. All right. So there it is. If it's right, this will go to the server. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I get invalid OTP. Please try again. Now, by the way, I'd like to demonstrate something that I didn't put in the project, but I think this will work. If I just send this a few times, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, there we are. You've tried too many times. You saw that one? It said you've tried too many times, and down here now I'm getting error. That's what I wanted to show you. this version 3 of the API limits the number of guesses, and then it hangs up on you. So that's good, and that's going to be important later. So now I'm getting 500 errors because I made too many guesses. Yes, and that's the reason the developer is sloppy is because the rest of it says version 2, and this says version 3. And that suggests that we might be able to find old versions of methods left on the server, which are more vulnerable. So that's what we're going to look for here. Yes, so that we saw how it has a lockout, and this is version 3. All right, let me go back to my instructions and make sure I'm on track here. Okay, oops, something bad happened. Okay, so now we're going to we have to complete the collection, and I'm going to switch to my already completed collection. So I've shown you how to put in a get and a post, and how to get this check OTP, and up here is my crappy collection I made before that has more things in it, including those, which are the important ones. So I go back to this one, and I've done the password recovery. Okay, now, I had to, of course, by the way, you have to save this one. Nothing's going to work if you forget to save your requests, which I did, of course. That's how I learned. All right, now we have to add an environment variable. We're going to try to automatically change everything to different version numbers. So the way we do that is we use the I up here, which is, I think, might be obscured by my head. Let me shrink my window a bit to prevent that. And let's get rid of this. We don't need that right now. Get rid of I'm trying to clean up my screen. There we are. So if you go up into the corner, there's an I. And I'm going to shove my window down here. I think it's going to be visible. Yep, now it's visible. There is the I. The I is environment variables. And so I'm going to delete, well, what you do, I'm going to try and, I'll go down to this one to demonstrate how to do this. Here's the new one I made, a new demo thing. I click this, and that's right, I've already got this thing called improper assets management I made. I'm going to try to add a new one, which I know what I do. There's this thing here called an environment here. I'm going to go to no environment. There we go. Now, when I go here, there's no active environment. This is what you're going to see. Now you add an environment. And I'm going to call this demo. Okay. And now I can add a variable here. And the variable I want to add, let me get my instructions, is going to be path. Okay. I'm going to call it path. And I can give it a value. And the value is going to be v3. That's it. I have a variable called v3, and now I have to save, like always. So now I've created an environment called demo that has that in there. And now I have to add a test. So you do that. You select the environment. I'm using demo. And then you find tests in the center pane. I think I have to turn this off. No. All right. I have to click my arrangement. There we are. Now I have a thing called tests. Okay. You can do little scripted tests just to put a label on the responses to make it easier to sort. And so here's the script that I got from that book. This script will check to see if the status code is 404. It will pass if you get a 404. I don't know why he chose to do it backwards, where it passes if it fails, and it fails if it passes, but that's how he did it. So that's the test. And now you have to click Save. Again, here's Save. Okay, so now I have an environment. Now I can run the collection. So you go here and run collection. It'll do all the posts in your collection. You choose, it's going to run these 3 posts, and I'm going to save responses and run demo. And there you go. Status code is 404, so it's fail, fail, fail. Nope, because I actually got 200 instead of 404. So it considers that a failure because it didn't get 404. Now So that's just running to see. It is having the usual result. I got 200 and 200 and 500. 200 for these and 500 for that one because I made too many requests. That's the one that's trying to reset your password. So now I have to insert the variable. Now, all I need to do is in the request, wherever I see v2, I need to put in test in double curly braces. You can do it with search and replace, but I found it to be very hard to do. And one thing that got me about Postman is notice all these tabs. Everything you do keeps creating a new tab until you lose control. When I tried to do search and replace, it actually was changing it on one tab and contradicting what was done on the other tabs. So what you have to do is close all these extra tabs. I don't understand what they're all doing up there anyway. Do I want to save this? See, this is unsaved changes. Damn if I know. What is on this thing? Oh, that thing. Sure, I'll save it. Oh, I see. I forgot to save. Request name, cancel, save to, demo. All right, save. Okay. So I guess you have to treat it like browser. Save things and then close it. All right. So I'm going to close everything. All right. Okay. There. And now, I saved a couple extras down here I didn't mean to save. So I'm going to delete them if I can figure out how. Okay, delete. This happened to me before. I just had all these crazy tabs until I lost control. Okay, now I go back to demo. And it created one tab. So create, save, exit, yeah, something like that. Yeah, I don't quite understand the tabs. Just when I did search and replace, I got in trouble for having so many bloomin' tabs. And now I've noticed, go up here occasionally and clean out all the stupid tabs. So now I can try find and replace. Okay, I want to find V2, and I want to choose what collection I'm in, and I want to do it in the demo collection. And in my environments, I want to do it in the demo environment. Okay, let's see if it can find them. And it found two of them, which is, okay, V2 and V2. That's right, because I have two for V2 and one for V3. So this worked. It found them. Now I'm going to do replace with path. I have to check them here to say I want to replace. There we are. Now I can replace into selected. So I replace. Now it's done. Now let's see if it worked. I close this. And now when I look at community post, see it has this orange path there instead of V2. And the recent posts has the orange path. Check OTP still has V3 because I didn't replace V3, but I'll just do that one manually. So it's curly brace, path, curly brace, curly brace. Okay, so now I've got this variable in those posts. So now I can control that variable. And so what we're going to do is we're going to run a fail scan. We're going to deliberately make it so everything will fail. So we go to, we click the I, and then I'm in demo. So here's the value. I'm going to change the current value of this to something that will fail, which is like fail 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's just a word that is not going to be any valid API name. And then I thought I'd have to save it, but I think in this box you don't have to save it, just to irritate you. All right. I don't have to save it there. I don't think you have to save it. Oh, there's a save somewhere. Where is save? All right. If I go back to the I, there it is. I thought there was save somewhere, but I don't see save. Okay. Maybe here? All right. No new changes. All right, fine. I'll carry on. Maybe you don't have to save it. I'm a little unclear on the saving. Anyway, so here we are in demo. Now I can run collection. Okay, it's going to do these. I want to save responses, run the demo, and there it goes. And now it gets 404 for everything, and that is considered passing because of that backwards rule. So changing V2 to fail 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, of course, caused everything to give us a 404, so that's fine. Now we can try other things. So we go here. Let's try version 1, for example. We found version 3 and version 2. Maybe there's a version 1. So let's just run the thing again and see. See, I'm getting all these tabs again. So I'm going to nuke these extra tabs. All right. Now, run collection, save responses, run demo, and they're still all 404 for V1. So they didn't leave any V1 sitting around. All right. Let's try V2. Okay, close the extra tab, go here, run, oops, not that, click the 3-dot thing, run collection, okay, save responses, run demo. Now I get 200, 200, 500. This is actually interesting. I got a 500 for this one, which is going to the API that is supposed to be only 300. And I got a 500 internal server error, and it was 1,015 bytes big, 1.015 kilobytes. So I got a more than a kilobyte response of 500 for version 2 of the password change. And if I try version 3, edit, version 3, okay, and now I close these extra tabs and run collection, save responses, run. Now I get 4, whoa, I ran the wrong group, all right. Here's demo, somehow went up here. Oh, fooled me, all right. Let's try that. Running the demo, run collection, save responses, run. There we go. I get 404 here. There is no version 3 of those, but there is a version 3 of these. And here, I get a 500, but it's less than a kilobyte, 987 bytes. So what happened is there are 2 versions of the password change thing. Password 3 gives a different size response than password 2. So that is my clue that something is wrong here. They did leave some old version of something up there, and maybe it will be vulnerable. So just try it in burp, which is here. All right. So in burp, we've got, it's the check OTP we're interested in here. So let's start with this version 3 that's just sitting there and send it to the, in fact, see, everything we've been doing is going through burp, by the way. Everything in Postman is going through burp. So here's version 2 of check OTP, and here's version 3 of check OTP. So let's do version 2 first, I guess. We'll send this to the intruder, something we've used before. Go to the intruder, and we're just going to try a group of changes here. So here we have things you can vary. We clear the old ones. The only thing we want to try is brute forcing the OTP. So you highlight it and add the section marks. We're going to change the OTP in payload positions. And then we need to put in some payloads. And I put in a handy list to just copy and paste here so you can do 15 numbers just to see what would happen. So here's just 15 4-digit values to try. All right. And now we run this attack, which is here, start attack. That opens up another window somewhere. Here it is, okay. So there it is, sending these 15 attacks. And notice that they're always 500, and the length is varying somewhat. But if you look at the replies, you can see what's going on. There is a long variable in here that has a variable length. So let me bring this up. Come on, move up. There we go. So you see there's this, in response is here. It's got this report to endpoints thing. Here's the invalid OTP. Please try again. All right, and if you look at some of these others, they all say invalid OTP, please try again. You see just the length of this endpoints thing varies somewhat. That's why the length is different. So This is the one we already saw before. After the first 10 requests, it locked me out, so I'm always getting 500 invalid OTP. That's version 3. Now let's attack version 2. I discard this. I go to the proxy, and version 2 is highlighted, so I highlight that. I right-click and send to intruder. Go to intruder. Hope I didn't do version 2 last time. I don't think I did. Anyway, then I clear these things. I know I didn't because it would look different. Then I add this. Okay, now I'm ready to do exactly the same attack on version 2. I go to payloads, and I put in my 15 numbers, and I start the attack. And here it is. Okay, and notice it doesn't say it says invalid OTP. So it did check the password, and if I look at them all, they all say invalid OTP. So this is the vulnerability we were looking for. The version 2 is on there, and the version 2 does not lock you out after 10 bad guesses. So the version 2 is vulnerable to brute force attacks. So that's it. That's finding a vulnerability with Postman and Burp. All right, I'm going to stop this one.